What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter, and this is the start of a mini-series where I'm going to be building out a website project using Editor X. Editor X is a feature-rich, browser-based website building tool that's going to allow you to make pixel-perfect designs without all the hassle of code. That's right, it's a no-code tool that outputs websites that are seamless, they are modern, they are code compliant, and they are really, really slick. In today's episode, I'm gonna be doing the basic build. That's taking my design file, moving everything over, all the assets, all the elements, laying everything out on the page, and making it as pixel perfect as I possibly can. We're gonna drag some stuff, we're gonna drop some stuff, but most of all, we're gonna build us a website. Okay, we have Editor X open, and what we also have open is an Adobe XD file that I designed a little single page kind of home page thing. Probably gonna have to create some other supporting pages like these ones up here, but it's a basic navigation, big, beautiful hero image, some abstract images with overlapping. After that, we have a basic informational area with a button and some overlapping images here. Something that's gonna be kind of maybe CSS Flexbox right in there. With some different types of elements and different stuff. And then we have a massive footer. So all of this stuff would be kind of complex to do if you hand coded it. Let's see how it goes inside of Editor X. I'm gonna jump over to Editor X. What I also have is an entire folder full of images and exports from my Adobe XD file. We're gonna try to get it to be as close to pixel perfect as possible. And to do that, we're gonna start right here in Editor X. We're gonna hit create a new site. So here we go. I wanna make sure that I use Editor X, and I'm gonna skip this portion and use a blank canvas to get started and do my project with. So we'll go ahead and edit a blank canvas, and Editor X will launch everything for me. All right, here's what we have, a blank canvas. It has a master header, a blank section, and a master footer. Why don't we go ahead and really quickly just edit the master footer right away and just give it that pure black background. We'll just double click in there, change the design, bring our kind of like little modal up, and then we'll drop in a pure black here. Like, there we go, pure black there in the footer. That's gonna be everywhere. We also know that we need some other pages. We're not going to take a lot of time and create those pages. I might just put some pre-made sections in there for watches, bands, and hats, and then that way we'll see our footer and our header show up on the rest of those pages. So I'm going to do that really quickly. So now I am adding new pages, duplicating other pages, adding pre-made sections, and uploading all the media and inserting it into the areas where it needs to go. Okay, now we have a few different pages like hats, bands, and watches, and they all include that master footer that we created, and we haven't really touched the master header yet, but let's head back to home and start building out our actual homepage design. Let's look back at our file. It's gonna have this big, beautiful top section, this big hero header, and the navigation is gonna be embedded inside of it. So for my homepage, I'm actually gonna go ahead and delete out the master header. I'm not gonna use it here. I'm gonna create a custom navigation area and let the other pages all use the master header. To do that, I am going to, first things first, I'm gonna bring inside of this element, I'm gonna add some media, and I'm gonna look for the media that I've uploaded. Let's try this gradiated background image, and we've popped it right in, and then I'm gonna make it fill the entire space. Adding in a basic container, and I'm gonna use that container to hold my navigation. So I'm going to change the size of it, make sure that it's docked to the center so that it stays center aligned. I've made it transparent, and I've added the SVG of the logo inside of it as well as a menu. I've added all of the pages that are in the site inside of that menu and then styled it so you can see it, and I've aligned it over on the right-hand side. And the last thing I'm gonna do is add a mobile navigation. And we'll just headed over to the right hand side, and for now I'm going to take my menu, I'm going to click on the three dots to the right hand side, I'm going to put don't display. So that's going to be hiding there. It's going to be waiting for our mobile navigation to kick in when I get to smaller screen size. So let's start dropping our text in. Actually, text, we're going to add a title right there, edit the text. It's using the baked in H1. Now we can change that really easily. We can come over here, change the color of it, we're going to be using this font that we have in our Adobe XD file called Arapay. We've already uploaded it, so we have Arapay regular, just like that. Why don't we take the text that's in here and just put that in there so we can see it in action. Looking pretty good, but we want it to be center aligned, and we want to give this just a little bit more room to breathe. Cool. Okay, let's open our inspector and just make sure it's lined up in the middle and in the middle of this entire container, which is pretty cool. Let's lift it just a bit. We're going to cheat, which I think looks pretty good. And now we have our heading 1 the exact way that we want it. Let's go ahead and open that up and update the theme. It's going to update the actual theme of everything for us, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's close that up. Nice. Let's add some more text in here, and let's add something like an H2 or maybe an H3. Let's put an H3 up there. Now I'm just styling the text, changing it to the appropriate font that I want, and I'm gonna go ahead and update that in the font theme so it can be used throughout. Now we have all 3 of these. I don't want these to get messed up. I love the spacing and the context they have within each other. So I'm gonna stack them, which is gonna use Flexbox. It's gonna make sure that when we preview this and we start moving things in, no matter how things resize, we're gonna get them staying the way that they're laid out, kind of like structured in our layout. So why don't we just take this and take our image, we're gonna fix it and make sure it's the same size. Everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit larger and center it, okay? And actually what I can do is I can stretch this out as well, center it, and then I can just put a line break in my words. And that's going to try to, as much as possible, keep that line break there. But we get much less changing in our typography. So we're going to come down and just say add a new section. Let's use CSS grid. We're going to do a 3x3 grid. You know why? Because why not? And why don't we just change the design of this grid, bring the color up, do that one more time, and let's just make sure it's a really similar color as to what is right above it. There we go. It's this off black color. That looks really, really good. Let's add in some images. And I know that we're using this one with the guy in the coat wearing the watch. And then we also have this one of the guy in the green shirt. So let's go out and find media and find the guy in the green shirt, shall we? Boom, just like that. Now, let's just go ahead and stretch this up in size, because what we wanted was this thing to kind of be at the edge of our container, right? We're going to bring it above the grid so it has a little bit of negative margin, just like we have here in our design. Now I'm just updating the images, their placement, adding in the text, styling that text, and making sure that I save that new typography in the font themes. That works for me. I'm going to come right down below it and add a new section. This new section is going to be, let's see, we'll probably use a layout for that. Let's go layout. We'll choose a layout of kind of like a dual panel layout. First thing we want to do probably is come to our layouter, open up our panel there, and let's just change the width really quick, shall we? Let's go auto, but we want a max width of, what was our max width up here? I believe our max width was 1400. We kind of want the same thing for our layouter, so let's go max width of 1400 pixels. None, huh? Okay. I see how you're going to be. Pixels. Let's go. 1400, just like that. Let's make sure it lines up in the middle. And now we're docking it to the left and right hand edges. Pretty cool. That means we can take our section and we can change the fill color in our section. Woo, right there. To match the fill color above it. Just like that. Boom. So now our section is actually dark, just like that. Let's come into our layouter using our little breadcrumbs to kind of navigate around. Let's manage the layout. Let's get rid of these borders and gutters and everything around it. Let's just tighten them up right next to each other. Really, really easy. And we're just going to do two side by side, so that works perfect for us. That's great. Okay, we'll do it just like that. And each one of these needs to change the design. It needs to not have a background color. I'm just making my boxes transparent, both the box and the container itself, and then I'm starting to add in some typography. making sure that typography is pinned to the container, styling it, and again, saving it into my font masters. We have this little line inside of our design. Let's just go look for a decorative element, and let's do, I know we have lines, horizontal lines, boom. Let's just do a horizontal line right here. Easy, baked in, right? And just underscore R, and we can change the design of it, the width, and just taking the opacity of that thing down. Done, look at that. Now I'm just adding the rest of my typography inside of my container. I have an italicized version of my serif font, and I'm adding in my body copy. I'm gonna stack everything together, add in my button, and make sure the spacing is just how I like it. Next thing we need to do is just bring those images that we had. What images were we using? The PNG there, and then the watch on the ledge. So let's go media. This is definitely watch on a ledge, I can tell you that. And then let's just really quickly come in here, duplicate, and the one in the back, we will change the image to be our PNG of a watch. Beautiful, just like that. Now we could take our watch on a ledge, shrink it down. We can actually mess with the dimensions of this thing, and we'll make our watch on a ledge much bigger, much bigger. And now I'm just moving the images around, resizing them, stacking them together to make sure that they stay exactly in that configuration. That's pretty good. That's pretty much done. Let's do our CSS Flexbox thing down here. Let's do, yeah, we could do that. We could either do grid or we could do Flexbox, I think. Couldn't we? We could. Let's try the Flexbox out, shall we? We're gonna do this mosaic deal right here. Apply. Yeah. Okay. We have a layouter in there. Let's close this off and let's choose the section. Actually, we want the layouter, so let's just design that layouter. We don't want that layouter to have any sort of background. Well, maybe we do. Yeah, maybe we do. We just don't want all the stuff inside of it to have it. But we definitely want these gutters off, right? We want everything flush, like really modern, really flushed up against each other. So we have 3 up here, and we have 1 down here. We can add more really, really easily. So we're gonna do 2 and then 3. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, just like that. Takes a little bit of working and getting used to, but for the most part, it works, okay? So let's add our media. Let's just drag an image in here. Let's change that image, and let's go to this shot of the watch on the table. Great, it's inside of our Flexbox. We're just gonna stretch it to fix, and then we're gonna do the sizing of all of this. I'm just manipulating the Flexbox, adding in my typography and my images, and it's really, really easy to manipulate the spacing and the padding. And when you do that, the whole rest of the Flexbox actually updates as well. Dropping in images, more typography, coloring some of the backgrounds, and just tightening everything up and making it look the way that I want. Here I'm playing with the padding and the spacing and making sure everything looks appropriate. I unstack, restack things just to make sure they're exactly how they should be. Pretty awesome. Okay, and we are almost done with the project. So we have our kind of section right there. Last section is our footer. So let's come down in here now and mess with our master footer, okay? I am going to actually just come in here and get my vector art for my logo. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna drop it inside just like that. Let's line things up on the left-hand edge, and we are gonna need some more text yet again. So let's bring it down here. Here I'm just adding in the footer logo and some text. I'm creating some master sections or headers for my footer links. And I've dropped in normal text here, but later on I'm going to come back and make these real vertical navigations, each of them highlighting the different pages that they represent. And now we have our footer. You'll notice if we go to other pages, we've made changes to our footer, and that takes place everywhere. And that's it. Let's publish this thing really quickly and view the site in our browser. Looks really, really nice. Got some hovers we need to fix there. We got some nice imagery and some text overlapping. We can manipulate that a little bit. We got a nice button in here. And our layout, we have our layouter, our CSS Flexbox that's working, and we have our links down below that we're gonna turn into links later on. But for now, that is the video. We will see you next time. Well, that's it. That's the basic setup of our website project using Editor X. We got everything in there we needed to, all of our assets. We got basic layout, and we even snuck in the start of a responsive navigation that we're gonna kind of fill out more in the next video. I fast forwarded some portions of this video, but I'm gonna be really honest, it only took me about 35 minutes to get this page and everything else completely set up, and that is mind-blowing. Stay tuned for more videos coming out in this mini-series, because in the next episode, I'm actually gonna add all of the responsive breakpoints and the responsive nature to the site, as well as some really fun JavaScript animations to all these elements on the page. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of videos about design and development, and there's more videos on Editor X coming out soon, so stick around. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments and check the description for some helpful links that have to do with Editor X. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you're designing amazing things. I hope you're making amazing things. And I hope you're working smarter and not harder. I'll see you in the next one.